Are you tired of feeling regretful, alone, or misunderstood? Do you have dreams and visions you want to accomplish, but feel stuck out of fear? Are you unsure of who you really are, out of years of pretending to be someone else? If these are some of the things you struggle with, then stay tuned to learn a key component along the journey towards self-awareness, which is how to stop caring what other people think, as per Walter Mercado. Hello everyone, my name is Maya Rivers and this is The Truth Behind the Real, a community in which we discuss the hidden messages that speak to us through the art of storytelling. We will pick apart documentaries, films, plays, and all forms of entertainment. Wherever the truth lies, we will seek it and grow along the way. In this video, I'm going to discuss the documentary Mucho Mucho Amor, the Legend of Walter Mercado, and how you too can stop caring what other people think of you so that you may walk in your purpose. Make sure to stay tuned till the end for an exclusive clip of the filmmakers discussing Walter's approach to his controversial sexuality. Walter Mercado was the original and the first psychic and astrologer to have a show nationally televised and that was strictly dedicated to the cosmos. At its peak, Walter Mercado was a daily presence in the lives of 120 million people across the globe, every day planting the seed and spreading the message of the healing power of love. Walter Mercado was famous for his positivity, his extravagant costumes and capes, as well as being a genuine, all-around, kind, good-hearted human being. In the documentary, directed by Christina Constantini and Karine Topsch, we learned about his early childhood years, his life during the peak of his fame, and the reason behind his sudden disappearance from TV in 2006, which was due to his contract gone wrong with his longtime manager. Admittedly, I was not aware, at least consciously, of Walter Mercado until I saw a preview for the documentary at Sundance earlier this year. I was immediately drawn in because I love astrology and tarot. However, I didn't get a chance to view it then, but was really excited when I did see it premiere on Netflix. So this documentary did not disappoint and is worth checking out, especially if you want to learn more about Walter, or you need a good pick-me-upper, or just because you felt compelled to. Whatever your reasoning is, it's available for streaming now on Netflix. So of course his life was without controversy. After all, he was very flamboyant and a glamorous man, unapologetically, in a time when non-binary was not a phrase and homophobia and toxic masculinity or machismo ran rampant. And yet he challenged all of this simply by being himself and unapologetic about it. But what I really want to discuss in this video is the impact of the documentary and who Walter Mercado was as a person. He was a person who did not let the judgment of others control his behavior. For the majority of his career, he was taunted for his persona and plagued with questions about his sexuality. From a very early age, he was encouraged to be himself, and a large part of that came from his mother, who ingrained in him the importance of accepting that he was different. Many times, however, not everyone's individuality was embraced during their formative years or even later. And at times we find ourselves stuck, living in other people's visions for our lives, waiting for permission, depressed, anxious, and whatever else past transgressions plague our mind. So how can we get past the mind? And really that's in your actions. It's in the things that you do. So one of the things I love about Walter Mercado, although he was always asked about his sexuality, he did not say directly what he was and what his preference was, because he let his actions speak for him. He carried on with his life, unbothered, and did what he wanted to do regarding his purpose. And if However you interpreted his behavior and his actions to be is what you interpreted it to be. But he was always true to himself. So in this video, I have 3 steps that you can take, like Walter Mercado, so you can stop caring what other people think about you and walk in your purpose. So the first step that you can take to stop caring what other people think is to fake it until you make it and create a new persona. So I like to always talk about Beyonce, but since this video is about Walter, that's exactly what Walter did. And so we learned in the documentary that early on he realized that he had to create someone famous in his mind, someone otherworldly who could handle the life that he knew he was destined to live. And that's what he became. That's who he was able to channel to then provide us with the Walter Mercado that we knew. So if you have to create a persona in order for you to start taking those steps towards living more authentically and also to stop caring what people think of you, then go ahead and do it. What's stopping you? So to do this, you're really going to have to dig deep within yourself, especially for those of you who have for so long denied your essence and who you are. So take some time out, grab a pen and a notebook, and just jot down who you are. So what is it that you like? What are things you don't like? What are your values? What are your boundaries? Ask yourself those questions, and you can get the answers to those questions by thinking of times where, for instance, what are your boundaries? If something made you uncomfortable, then maybe that's tied to a boundary. So to answer the question of what are your values, you can think of what are the things that you need from other people to feel respected, to feel loved, and to feel understood. And then from there, if you want to, you can have a little bit of fun, and you can give this person maybe a new name, give them a whole entire style, give them a whole new identity if you have to, so that you feel comfortable being this person, whatever it takes. That is the goal. Create a new persona, and once you have that persona, rock it out. Unapologetically, of course. The second step to stop caring what people think of you is to start parenting yourself. So we're gonna start doing that inner work to give ourselves the validation that we never had as a child, because so much of who we are is based off of those formative years, which are ages 1 through 7. Start to validate your feelings and stop feeling guilty for what you feel. So for instance, let's say someone rubbed you the wrong way and disrespected you, but you might feel guilty for feeling angry because you were probably neglected throughout your childhood for your emotions. So what do? Validate yourself. Say, hey, it's okay to feel that way. You're right. Give yourself all of that assurance that you need. And if that's not enough, confide in a trusted ally who understands you and can give you that affirmation and add that fuel and power to your thought. The third thing you can do to stop caring what other people think of you and to walk in your purpose is to express yourself. Say what you feel. Say what you're thinking. It's okay. Remember, we're learning that through parenting ourselves. So at first, if you're really used to silencing yourself and not being heard, this is gonna feel a little weird. You're gonna actually respond to people. You might be a little aggressive, okay? And that's all right, because you're like a baby deer learning how to walk, and you know how they wobble at first and their knees start to buckle and all that. That's gonna be you. You might explode at times. You might blurt out things that others can find offensive or disrespectful, and you might start to feel guilty. So if you start to feel guilty, Take yourself back to step 2 and parent yourself. And remember to be kind to yourself because you're learning something new. You're learning something totally different that you've suppressed within yourself for many years. So you're gonna fumble. You're gonna make mistakes. Remember though, to be gentle and kind to yourself and be that parent, that nurturer in who you need. So you're working, you're saying what you want, you're out there, blurting out all kinds of stuff, having all kinds of word vomits, and finally you're starting to grow though. And that empathy and that compassion towards others within your communication is going to develop as well, because you're developing it within. And you'll start to communicate a lot more effectively and from your heart while being respectful of others. So I promise you, as you begin to take these 3 steps towards not caring what other people think, something magical starts to happen. Because you're honoring who you are, you start to have this fierce dedication and focus to your purpose, and if you don't know it, towards finding your purpose. If you guys have made it this far, then you are certainly very deserving of this next clip.
Was Walter gay? Was he queer? Was he bi? What was he? Kareem, can you answer it?
I like to say, you've seen Walter. I don't know if he was a homosexual, but he was very clearly gay. He really didn't like labels. He always said that. But he was still 100 years ahead of his time, as he said, And I think he showed us that. Every time Walter came on television, he showed us who he was.
I think, it was very calculated, deliberate persona that he created. His mom told him at a young age, being different is good. You should go on being different. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to construct in myself a famous person. And I think that was a very fabulous mechanism. The Walter Mercado persona was a fabulous coping mechanism so that he could be himself in a way that he could be.
Thank you so much for viewing this video. It is my hope that you learned something new that'll help you along your journey. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe, as well as share this video with anyone you feel may need it as well. Once again, I am Maya Rivers, and this was The Truth Behind the Real.